Bonjour students, welcome to Entretien 101, a unique YouTube channel for CBSE French for students of classes 9 and 10. My name is Lalit Rao. I'm a film critic, French teacher, translator and interpreter, and in this new video I'm going to talk to you about 10 key topics that need to be studied in order to learn basic French. Dear students, before I get into the nitty-gritty of the discussion, I would like to ask you, what do you mean by basic English? So dear students, by basic English, we generally refer to the acquisition of around 850 words and some rules of grammar. In the same manner, by basic French, we mean the knowledge of around 1000 simple words that can be used in daily life and a good knowledge of French pronunciation. Now, it is said that a language can't be learned in isolation. That means that in order to learn a language, words and grammatical rules are not enough. You got to learn the language in such a manner that you are able to use what you have learned in daily lives. So, the knowledge of the following 10 topics will give you a thorough understanding of what is meant by basic French. So here I go. So in order to learn basic French, you need to know the conjugation of ER, IR and RE verbs in present tense. So ER like parler, IR like finir and RE like vendre. So you need to know the conjugation of these three groups. First group ER verbs, second group IR verbs and third group RE verbs in present tense. Days of the week. You should know what are the names of different days of the week. Difference between est-ce que and qu'est-ce que. If you are able to differentiate between est-ce que and qu'est-ce que, then it can rightly be said that you have good knowledge of basic French. Number 4, difference between Imparfait and Passé Composé. Now dear students, in English we have only one form of past tense, but in French we have two forms of past tense, and they are Imparfait and Passé Composé. But if you know basic French, then it would be expected that you should also know about Imparfait and Passé Composé. Okay. Element number 5. Impératif and its exceptions. Now, if you know what is meant by imperative, how it is used, and what are its exceptions, then it can rightly be said that you know basic French. Then, le futur and le conditionnel tenses. So, you got to know something about future tense and conditional tense in order to be qualified to be called a good learner of basic French. Months of the year. Months of the year appear simple, but you got to know something about them, or rather you should know the names of all the 12 months of the year, and also the months on which the names of the months on which accents are put in French. If you know them, if you know this fact, then it can be said that you know basic French. And next element is negation. You should be able to negate any sentence in French. If you know that, then you know basic French. Now I move on to topic number 9. You should be able to know numbers in French from 0 to 100. If you know these numbers correctly, then you can also be good at learning numbers beyond 100, that is 101 to 1000, 10,000, 100,000, million, so on and so forth. But if you know numbers from 0 to 100, then any French teacher can proudly say that, my dear student, you know basic French. And last but not the least, in order to be qualified as a good learner of basic French, you should be able to do your own self-presentation in 10 sentences. By self-presentation, I mean that you should be able to speak 10 sentences fluently about yourself to describe what you are, who you are, etc. So, ladies and gentlemen and my dear students, these are the 10 points which constitute what is known as basic French. Before I end this video, I would like to do a quick recap of this topic of basic French. So, the 10 elements which need to be studied in order to be called a good learner of basic French are conjugation of ER, IR and RE verbs in present tense, knowledge of days of the week, difference between est and qu'est, difference between Imparfait and Passé, Composé, knowledge of Impératif and its exceptions, knowledge of Le Futur and Le Conditionnel tenses, knowledge of months of the year, knowledge of negation in French, knowledge of numbers in French, numbers from 0 to 100, and point number 10, the ability to present oneself in French, that is self-presentation in 10 sentences. So, dear students, you have taken French in class 9 and 10, and I don't know what you have done in classes 6, 7 and 8, but let me remind you of one very important thing. That is, if you have not studied French properly in classes 6, 7 and 8, then you need to brush up your French and properly learn basic French, because if you learn basic French, then you will be able to score good marks in your French exams, which will be conducted when you are in classes 9 and 10. So with these words, I wish you bonne chance, good luck, merci beaucoup, thank you very much, et bonne journée. And before I end, I hope that you have liked this video. If you have liked this video, then please share this video with all your friends, classmates, neighbors, relatives and well-wishers. And you can support me by subscribing to Entre Jeunes 101, a unique YouTube channel for CBSE French for classes 9 and 10. And before I end, again, a small request. If you are interested in learning more about French culture and civilization, then I have another channel on YouTube that is called FLCC French. Please subscribe to it also to know more about French language, culture and civilization. Merci beaucoup, au revoir et bonne journée.